Marijuana's bad.
Hey guys, AK here, bringing you another tutorial, extended tutorial on resampling. In my previous video, I talked about resampling in arrangement mode by creating a whole bunch of groups and putting different effects in parallel and that sort of thing. Today I'm going to talk about another style of resampling that's way more based in session mode, but workflow oriented. What I'm going to suggest is before you bring your track to arrangement, like if I were to play out all these session clips into arrangement mode, that you do resampling on different sections at this point in your track. Let's take a look at how I'm set up. I have nothing too fancy. I have my different sections of the song organized into different groups which contain, all my different chord sounds, lead sounds, bass sounds, drum sounds. Everything here is FM8, believe it or not. Just a project I'm working on. But what I'm going to do here is create a new audio track, and this is where we're going to actually do all of our resampling. So I'm going to call this resampling. And I'm going to add another track divider here. We're going to do a couple of things with this track. We're going to turn it off, and we're going to create another track, and we'll call it Crazy Effects. And this is where we're going to load the effect plugins that we're going to use. And if you have any default track templates, I just make both of these channels totally clean, so there's nothing yet going in or out of them. And we're going to take the input of this track and set it to Crazy Effects, and we're going to record and enable this track. Alright, so what this is going to allow us to do, if you want to get the explanation before the implementation, is put a whole bunch of crazy resampling effects on this track, and then take our different groups of our song and route them to that Crazy Effects track here, and then tweak the patch or tweak the effect in a whole bunch of different ways and record those results into a resampled clip that is coupled with the section of your song. So let's take a practical example, and we'll just listen to the first scene of our song here. So in this section, the chord part is probably the most dominant melody that's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our chords output of the whole track, doesn't matter how many instruments are in here, and I'm going to route it to Crazy Effects. And we don't hear anything, but if we turn Crazy Effects and put it as an input track and record enable it, and change it to no input, anything now that we route to this track will come through and will be processed by the chain that is exposed on this track. So this is our sort of resampling playground, and this is where we're going to record whatever we're resampling. So let's go to Crazy Effects, and for this first chords, let's use the good old-fashioned BeatRepeat. That's a great plugin or device. So I'm going to take BeatRepeat and I'm going to put it on Crazy Effects. Now what this is effectively doing is running the audio here out of chords into Crazy Effects and applying the BeatRepeat to it. And as just a common practice, I always, when I am set up in this way, you always want to put a limiter on this Crazy Effects resampling track. And even, bring it up so you really don't, because if you're creating crazy feedback and distortion, you just might kill your ears, so the limiter is to protect that. So what I'm going to do now that I have this set up, is just record. Just literally start recording into this resampling track and not worry about writing automation in any of these parameters. Just freely move things around and get cool sounds. I'm not going to do this with anything in particular in mind, but I'm going to do this in a way that when I actually take this to arrangement mode, I'll have all sorts of interesting variations on chords to use in the context of my arrangement. Alright, so let's get started. All we got to do is click record on resampling. And again, I'm just having fun with the plugin. Nothing in particular here. Alright, so that wasn't my best resampling effort, but you'll notice, and you can even see that silence there, what we have, we just recorded all that here. So I'm going to title this chords, because it's a resampled version of the chords. I'm going to make this a nice different color so it really pops. And then we just move on to the next scene of our song. We can remove this beat repeat, we could use it again, but we won't. And let's listen to the next section. So what I'm hearing in this section is that the drums really add a new element. So the drums are going to be what I resample. And I will take this routing off and change it back to the master. And I'll take the drums and I will route them to Crazy Effects. Now I've noticed that I've actually reduced the gain significantly on this channel, which is really lowering the volume. I'm going to raise it back up because when I look at our original clip, we're not even close to peaking. And we have a limiter on here, just in case. Might even be able to push that up. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. So now I'll try a different effect for the drums. Something similar to BeatRepeat that is percussive. A nice Max for Live device is the BufferShuffler, which will let us sort of do a lot of cool randomization with the audio and just pan it to different sides. It takes a second to load. So again, I'm already set up to resample. The output of here is going into here, and the output of here can be recorded here. So I can just press record, this is why I like this workflow, and start clicking around the BufferShuffler. Try stutter. Maybe mess with the pitch. And then some gating. And then unsync left and right and just roll the dice. Oh, you hear all these cool sound effects we're getting? We're totally recording all of this. We can go for as long as we want. I'll stop it here. But I guess just to prove it to you, now if I solo this track and play the drums, you hear all those cool glitches and stutters? Those would take hours to get if we were programming them by hand. Alright, cool. Let's keep rolling here. Next section. Alright, so this introduces a new theme, the leads theme. And what I'm probably going to do here is I'm definitely going to resample the leads. So I'll take my master, I'll send the drums back to the master, and I'll send the leads to our resampling Crazy Effects. And we could leave the BufferShuffler. Let's try something new so I can, maybe expose you guys to a bunch of different plugins. For this one, let's try something in the glitchy category. Oh, let's try Glitch 2. This is a cool little plug. Takes a lot of load. It's kind of like Effetrix, except I think it has better sound quality, personally. And it's actually already running through. Alright, cool. So, like Effetrix, got these different effects here. And what's cool about this is if your effects have these randomize or mutate functions, it's really actually quite cool to do this workflow method. I'm just going to turn the volume up even more on my limiter. So I can basically just click random while it's resampling and get some cool stuff. In fact, to demonstrate this, no, I'll leave it in context. So whenever I'm ready, I will go to my resampling track, press the record, and then go back to my Crazy Effects and tweak with it. gain too. Maybe find the randomizer here. Maybe even try some presets. Oh, there's nothing there. Oh, that's cool. You'll just get like cool panning things. Alright, that's enough. It's cool because we're not using that much CPU here. When we're done with the effect, we're removing it. And I'll type in leads here. Now, you could obviously have duplicate resampling tracks and then do this for every section in the scene, so that for the first scene you have a drum resample, a chords resample, and then so on and so forth. But I usually just do it for one. So the leads are really the dominant instrument in this next track. But it looks like we're introducing something with the bass. Looks like I had the wrong bass selected. I think I'm gonna resample the bass for this. I need to raise the volume here. Excuse me. All right. Another way to do a bit more deliberate resampling is, okay, so we do this routing. Now it's coming through, and the limiter is super hot on this, so I'm actually gonna bring it back down. I'm gonna solo this. So now when we're resampling, we don't actually have the context of our original track, which is kind of nice because you would do things that you wouldn't otherwise normally get. For this one, oh, let's use Molekular. Molekular is really cool. So I'll drop Molekular on our Crazy Effects track. And I can't even explain to you what Molekular is because it's such a complex plugin. Just crazy machine with all these different multi-effects and crazy cool ways of routing between them. But for this, I'm not even really going to dial in an effect here. I'm just going to press record and just do some preset surfing through Molekular. Here we go. You get the idea how crazy this thing is. And, you know, it doesn't matter if some of this is garbage, because it might just have that one hit that makes everything perfect. Actually, I do recommend having the metronome on if you're not listening to your track. That's cool. That's enough of that. But you get the idea. I mean, you could it doesn't have to just be one plug. You could put a whole rack here. And now I've resampled the bass. So when we're done, we'll just delete that. It doesn't matter. We're done with it. All right, next section. Unsolo everything. So now, and it will become obvious to you if you use this method here, which track to resample or which group to resample. In this case, the leads, we didn't get it last time. And I know it's not happening for you, but my audio interface is glitching out right now. If anyone has a workaround for why periodically I need to reselect this in Soundflower, I am all ears. All right, cool. So let's take the leads this time, because we didn't get the leads last time, and we'll send them to Crazy Effects. And this time, let's try a filter. Let's try WoW 2. You guys are getting a tour of my plugin library. I hope this tutorial is useful. Okay, so this is WoW 2, and I think for this time, I just want to hear the leads and the drums. Not this. It's a filter. It's got a randomize button, which I love, and really good sounding distortion. I really like the digital. Yeah, there it is. Alright, cool. So I'm just dialing a patch that I sort of like here, and I'm gonna just tweak it again to the same thing. We're all set up to record. We just hit record and just go nuts. Sorry, guys. Come on. There we go. Post it. Oh, that's cool too. Oh, look, there's an envelope here. Or LFO. This is crazy. And when you do this, you get modulations that you never would have thought of. Which is so cool. Just randomize it. Just go for something else. Cool. That's enough. There's our leads. And obviously, looks like we hit our limiter. But it doesn't matter because we're not committed to any of this stuff. We're just doing this, I guess, for love of our song. Alright. Big section here. Gotta remove this wow. Turn this back to master. Alright. So it's true, we have a sub now. But I kind of like the chords here, because we got those new chords. So let's introduce something on the chords. And what other plugin should we look at today? Let's look at Zebrify. I love Zebrify. It's kind of like Zebra, except as an effects. I think actually it is a synthesis unit. But I'm using it as an insert effect. And I love plugins with like these sort of XY pads, because I can just, again, we're set up to record, so I can just press record and then just mess with these if I like the patch that I'm on. Or just go to another patch and mess with these again. I'll try something else. Nope. That's cool. I'll write my name. Or something. Ooh. And you know, if you're doing this and you're like, oh man, I need to know what's going on with the drums. Draw letters. Or numbers. I'm into those dramatic movements. Alright, so what are these? These are the chords. And I mean, at this point, you probably have the idea. I'm gonna keep going because I need to do this for the track, and I think it'll be fun to see different plugins. But that's it. So I'm gonna just review what we're doing here. We are routing the output of our groups to this crazy effects track where we are putting our crazy resampling effects, accompanied by a limiter so we don't hurt our ears. And we are sending the output of this limiter to our resampling track where we are just naming the different sections that we're resampling. So that when we play through our arrangement and record this thing, and then I'm like, oh, I wish I had some variation on the chords, bam, there's my variation on the chords, and I can pull any part of this to sort of create an interesting comparison from the core track. But I'm going to keep going. You guys are welcome to stay with me. All right, full disclosure, I did take a quick break, and I'm ready to get back to resampling this track. It's important to get up when you're producing if you want to be doing it for a long time. Where are we? Next section. Alright, so this section's totally different, going in a different direction. I think we don't have too many drums. We have a lot of these chords resampled. So I'm going to solo the drums. I'm going to turn on my click, and I'm going to resample the drums for this section. Alright, let's do something rhythmic. Maybe we'll do Tornado. Maybe I'll do a different plugin for every track or every scene. And Tornado's cool because it's got the dictator. And I have this knob map to actually randomize everything. Just my own little personal thing. So we're ready to record here. Let's resample it. Go random. Try different. Go random. That's cool. Alright, cool. Getting sounds that would just take a long time to make deliberately. I guess this should be called Indeliberate Resampling. Maybe I'll call this Indeliberate Resampling. Not such a catchy name. Alright, moving on. Oh yeah. Some Mario style music. Let's do the bass. Send it to Crazy Effects. And we'll try the finger. I love the finger. This is great for chopping stuff up. I'm sure I'll hear the drums. Try a cool preset. Subtractive. And then I have 4 macros not mapped to the twisters. So we can just come in again here, go to record on resampling, go back to plugin, and tweak stuff. If you have a controller, maybe I'll turn my push on the next time I do this. This is a lot more fun. You could also do dummy clicks in this channel if you wanted to move a bunch of macros together. Alright, that's enough. Enough of that. That's our leads. In fact, why don't I turn on the push for this next one? This is going to be bass, actually. Alright, cool. We got our push on. So now, if I select this, put the push in device mode. Alright, cool. Now I got this auto mapped, so I can just spin the knobs here on my push. We'll use the finger again for the next section. What is going on here? Is that right? Kind of have a weak section. Well, it's obvious we're going to do the leads here because it's repetitive and crazy and it needs to be different. So we'll send it to Crazy Effects. We will take Reactor or the finger, take the finger, put it to Glitch Chopper. Yeah, I like that. Make sure I'm set up to auto map here. I am. Go over to resampling and press record. I'll open the plugin window so you can sort of see what's going on. I'm just turning the knobs on my push. Oh, this is sweet. I'm having fun. Oh, that's going to be dope. Alright, so that's going to be called Dope Leads. Alright, let's try it again. So it looks like we got a solo happening. Is there really no bass happening over this solo? Ah, that's why. The bass is supposed to be playing here. Sorry guys, I was missing a part. So it goes. Let's resample that bass again. And instead of using the finger, let's try... let's try Effetrix. Effetrix is kind of like glitch too, where there are like all these effects and there's a random one. But I'm probably just gonna scroll presets on this. Yeah. Alright, so we're set up to record. I will press record, go over to the effect. And it's cool because you can turn effects off. So if you like want to hear the randomness, but like the reverb's making it crazy, or the loopers. Okay, let's turn off all the wild effects, so we just have a more powerful. Cool. There we go. Bass. Resampled. Alright, next section. I don't think we're going to resample anything for this section. It's pretty plain. I'm worried that one of my FM plugins initialized on me because this doesn't sound right. So we're coming from the solo. Well, if you're unsure of what's happening, always just solo the buses. So that's the chords. That's that sub. Yeah, I think maybe this is a sound design thing. So in this case, what I could actually do would be cool is resample them, just straight up resample the master. And to do that, I just have to change this from Crazy Effects to resampling. Now this is capturing the master. Damn, Soundflower. So now, as long as these effects are going to the master, it's already routed to the master, so I could just put stuff here. And we're doing a new plugin for each resampling break. So, well, Sure, let's go with CamelPhat. I kind of don't like plugins that run in legacy, but this is like a classic. And it's got a randomize button, which makes me happy. All right. So, I'm silly. Got to take input from the master, Aaron. Holy crap. Okay. Okay. You guys understand. I just totally almost blew out my eardrums. But didn't blow out yours. The limiter's saving our ass here. We're getting a feedback loop. I don't know why. I don't really feel like figuring it out. I'm just going to use it in the track. So let's just go forward. Gosh. Probably one of the distortion plugins. Quake. This is sort of working out for me. Let's try something for rhythm, maybe. That's enough of that, don't you? Oh, no. Say it ain't so. Well, just goes to show you, you shouldn't use legacy plugins. Boo. Boo. Let's try the recovery. So I think we have just witnessed why it is super important to save frequently. Yes, I'm using Easy MIDI. Whatever. It makes it easier to make chords. It does. It does. I mean, like, shit, check this out. Check this out. I can just, like, play these crazy chord progressions with keys. Gosh, you can't see my fingers crossed. That's because they aren't, because I have little hope or expectation. But, you know, at the end of the day, we still saved all of those files to memory. So if we have to bring them back in, it'll be tough maybe to do it in the right order, but it is absolutely doable. I do not feel like we've lost anything critical. And I'm just not thrilled that this is taking a long time. Live. Thank you, Live. Okay, so let's get rid of this offending plugin just before we do anything else and immediately save, because I would hate to have lost all this work. But I guess what I was saying before is even if it's crashed and we couldn't recover, these files were still created and they're named. Actually, thank God they're named 1, 2, 3. So, you know, this is the chords, this is the, and so on and so forth. Whatever. Alright, this is a tangent. I need to edit this out. What did we just do? We resampled the master, and now we are moving on to the next section. And that offending effect is gone. Alright, no more 32-bit VSTs when we do tutorials. Take notes. Of course, gotta reactivate this guy. Alright, cool. This is a little more groovy. We'll resample the chords. Send the chords to Crazy Effects. Turn this track. Record, no input mode. Yeah, I think we were creating a feedback loop when we were sending it to the master and taking it from the master, but we got it. Whatever. Crazy Effects. Let's find some other insert effects. This time maybe we'll try a complex rack. One of these weird racks I made. Make sparkly details. That sounds great. And we'll take the limiter back to a reasonable volume. No, this is like a mixing rack. This is not an automation rack. Make vocal talkie? Alright, this is cool. This one's cool. And I got it auto mapped to live, or to push. So, we will record enable resampling. We will change this back to take the input from Crazy Effects, post mixer. And we're ready to start. If you want to do yourself a favor, you should maybe try to keep these resampled clips to 16 bars just to make it easier to manage. But whatever. You don't need to. We're definitely working with the bass here. Oh, it's kind of cool with the... I think I'm going to use the same effect here. Cool. Going well. How much time we at here? 40 minutes? Gosh. Guys are still with me. You guys are champs. Alright, on to the next section. Beautiful. There's my cough in there. My resampled cough. Alright, let's work with the drums. And a new effect. A new effect for every track. Something rhythmic. Let's look at... Ooh, I don't know. Filters, maybe? Oh, I know. Let's play with some distortion. Let's play with the Saturn. That filter. I love this thing. It's got this really cool sequence. I think it's sequence, yeah. Oh, we gotta chain Crazy Effects. Isn't that cool? And I'm going to preset surf and tweak. This is so cool. I love this plugin. Like, could you ever program this? I mean, maybe. Just not easily. Again, not looking for anything in particular, just cool, interesting noises that I'm having a good time creating and getting a different feel to use for my track. Well, we haven't done the leads in a while. Is that really what I'm doing? Alright, whatever. Let's deal with this. I would love to use Saturn again, but we're doing a different plugin each time, so should we stick with Fab Filter or should we stick with Distortion? Oh, let's stick with Fab Filter. So they have this Volcano plugin that I just absolutely love. Listen to that fucking filter, man. Alright, let's get this one going. Enough of that. Let's change this back to the master. Might have to be leads again. Yep, it's gonna be leads again. And you know, I'll get rid of the Volcano here. Let's go with Distortion again. And, oh, I don't know, I freaking love Trash. All these plugins I love. And no social life. That's why we got the limiter there, guys. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Seriously, it's like so much fun to do this. Just because, like, you don't know what you're looking for until you hear it. guys got the idea. Leads. More leads. And, you know, you could say, like, distorted leads. It's better to give yourself more information, but at least we know which sections these go with. And just for my own edification, let's make them that color. Alright, we've been doing a lot of leads. So this time, let's use these chords. And we'll go with the distortion theme, because I'm digging on distortion. Let's try Maul. I want to go to the mall. Maul. Alright, and Maul is a either 3-band distortion in multi-mode, or in serial mode, it sends each one into itself. So I'm gonna put it in serial mode and just sort of, I'm not gonna use a preset this time. I'm gonna actually just build the distortion as I'm recording, I guess. Alright, cool. Maybe get some modulation going. Alright, so, it's like this. I need a compressor, like, whoa. Where's my compressor? I thought I had a compressor at the end. Alright, so I got frustrated with my own patch. Whatever. I got enough stuff. I got enough stuff. You stop when you want to stop. This part might not actually belong in the song. But it's cool. Yeah, it's gonna have to be the bass. What about LFOTool, huh? I haven't used that in a long time. This one's from Extra Records. And it's sort of like a filter and an LFO that can do, what did I have it doing? Sidechaining, I guess. I think it can do some cool gating. Yeah. So it's gating it. Alright, let's go with this. Does it have some filters? Thank you, Steve Duda, for everything that you do. Nothing quite like a hit by Duda. Oh yeah. And I'm not so much worried about the volume of these clips because, as you can tell, like the different plugins, these are actually relatively, yeah, that's pretty, yeah. Different plugins are gonna have much different sounds. I'm not mixing these yet. I'm just using, these are just gonna be, you know, bits for sound design parts and maybe some cool looped sections, just some audio to deal, because right now my project is all MIDI, which is awesome. This is bass actually. But it's not always the easiest way to work, especially, oh, look at that. We have reached the last scene. What happened to my glitch hop bass? Skrill it. Is it a pitch bend problem? Something just ain't right on this. Whatever. Let's get those last chords and be done. Let's end with delay. Uhbik. Here we go. That's nice. The wow. I might end with that. Delays are cool to get swells. I already went that way. And I mean, I guess if you don't care about your processor space, you can just keep adding stuff to this, you know? Oh gosh. Let's just take some of my quick effects. Make a wah. I never even used Guitar Rig. That's one of my favorites. Make a scratch. All right, so we've accomplished a lot here. We have pretty much created a resampled section for every scene in our track. And we have saved some processor space. We can delete this track. We don't need it anymore. And when we record our track, you know, into arrangement mode, if we leave this disabled, when we have a timeline, here I'll just quickly implement that so I can show you what I mean. I will press record, go to the first. So now the bits that we recorded here, what's significant is that like we have our arrangement going and you know all the different clips are launching and all the automations being recorded. But then when it's like we're like, all right, I got to deal with this intro. Oh, like cool, I have some resampled chords right here, and I can you know scrub through any part of these chords. I can you know quickly solo that and find. Like that little hit. Like if I like that, I could use that, in the track just to create some interesting articulation. And it's sort of indeliberate resampling, for your track and your preparation. All right, happy music making.